This is all you need to know about display grid for your first website, so let's go. The most common units of display grid is fractional units or FR. So before we begin to explain about display grid, let's go back in time. If you have went to school before, you have learned about fractions in your younger days. There's numerator and denominator. The denominator is the total number of equal parts the whole is cut into, whereas the numerator is the number of parts you are focusing on and considering. So 3/5 means that you have 5 equal parts total and you are focusing on 3 of the parts. This is important to know in display grid. Display grid allows you to lay the elements in equal parts or fractions. Basically, display grid allows you to put the elements in different fractions. Same as display flex, it is coded in the parent elements to lay its children. Although both display flex and grid does the same thing, which is laying out the elements, both are used differently. Display flex is used to lay the elements in either row or column, whereas display grid is used to lay the elements in both row and column. I will explain how to do that later. Now, let's move on into how to use it. To implement display grid, you will have to use the following code: grid template rows or grid template columns. Grid template rows to control the number of rows or the fractions of the rows, whereas grid template column is used to control the number of columns or the fraction of the columns. Next, the values. There are many different ways to distribute the elements, but here are the two: using only FRs or fractional units, and using one whole number and a few FRs. I will explain each of them. First, using only fractional units. This is an example for using only fractional units to distribute the elements. Now, you may not know what it means, so let me explain in as simple, weird ways as possible. This is where fractions are useful. The number of FRs is the denominator, which is the total number of parts in a whole, whereas the value of each FR is the size of each part. I will use units as a measurement for the size. So, in this example, there are 3 FRs, meaning there are 3 total parts. The value of each of these FR is 1, which means the size of each part is 1 unit. Total, there are 3 units, so the result will look something like this. This is another example: 2 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. Try to guess the result of this. So, here's the answer. There are 3 FRs, meaning there are 3 total parts. The value of the first FR is 2, which means it occupies 2 units. The value of the rest of the FR is 1, which occupies 1 unit each. Total, there are 4 units. The result will then look something like this. So, this is using only FRs as a unit. Next, using whole numbers and FRs. This is an example of using whole number and FRs to distribute the elements. What does each of these mean? Good question. The FRs is the same as what we have discussed just now, giving the sizes and the patterns of the part, etc. In this case, each part will be the same size. There is also a repeat function and a whole number. This, when paired together, means you are repeating the patterns of the FR, in this case 1 FR, 3 times, or whatever you put the whole number as. So, you are basically writing this: 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. If there are only 3 parts, it will perfectly fit because the whole is only cut into 3 parts. So, if there are 4 parts, the 4th part will be placed below the first part. This is another example. Try to guess the result of this. Here is it. This means that you are repeating the pattern 2 FR, 1 FR 2 times, basically writing 2 FR, 1 FR, 2 FR, 1 FR. Each row will then allow 4 parts, the first part, and the third part will be 2 units, whereas the second and the fourth part will be 1 unit. So, that's the basics. You have learned each of the properties for row and column. Now, let's combine them together. One to control the rows and another to control the column. This is an example for doing both. This will give 3 equal parts with the size of the first row to be 2 units and the second row to be 1 unit. Pretty simple. So yeah, this is Grid Explained. Anyways, that's my opinion. Bye.